What qualities do you look for in a president?
The qualities I look for a president is someone who's compassionate and speaks his or her mind, someone who's not afraid to conquer the difficulties that the country is facing, and someone who is able to adapt to constant and continuous changes.
This year is such an important year for Filipinos because we get to decide our future. For me, I look for honesty in my president. I want someone who has a vision and a plan for my country because I believe in the Philippines, I believe in our potential, and I believe in our power. And so I want a president with vision. I want a president with integrity.
Looking for a president who is hardworking and also honest, and who also have that wisdom to govern the Philippines, and someone who is selfless and someone who will promote the Philippines and also take care of the people, put the people first aside from his own needs.
Definitely, the qualities that I'm looking for a president are accountable, reliable, and definitely who has integrity. This quality really reflects that they have the compassion for our country. They are putting a lot of sacrifices and being able for us to achieve change and betterment for our country. And for those who are going to vote for the upcoming election, I hope that you are going to look for these qualities for our leaders, for us to achieve change and betterment.
The qualities that I look for in a president is, of course, they should have compassion and they would always think about the greater good of other people. Because if they have that in mind, we will definitely be a greater nation.
Some of the qualities that I hope to look for the next president is somebody who is very compassionate. Because becoming a president is such a big role, so you have to care about the people, especially here in the Philippines. We need to see the next leader who's going to make a big difference. And another thing would be someone who's very charismatic, someone the people need to like you. You need to spread good energy to the people. You need to always have a positive attitude because
qualities that I look for a president is that first, she or he is accountable with the things that he will do for the Philippines. Second, I want him or her to be compassionate for his or her people, so that that president will always or willing to listen to the people. And then third, I want my president to be competent enough to know what he or she doing with the position that he or she has.
Someone who listens and who actually does what he or she promises, and someone who can listen to the different needs of the community and then do something about it since they're the ones up the ladder.
I am going to look for a president. I am looking a president with a heart to the people, like knowing her responsibility, and he is or she is determined, passionate about her duties in life.
Well, the qualities that I look for is our president is a compassionate one. We've been into a brave industry wherein a lot of societal issues that needs to be addressed. But there are things that has been left out, which are the unprivileged and the less fortunate. And if we are able to elect a government official who has a compassion, which is more loving and more considerate, then a wonderful life would be wherein the people doesn't have to demand for their rights.
I look for someone who is efficient in his job or in her job, and at the same time is trustworthy.
Qualities I look for in a president are accountability and visibility. I want my president to be visible not just on social media and not just on the streets, but also in the more rugged parts of our country, doing their work. And additionally, I want them to be held accountable because while we all make mistakes, we all have to be held responsible and accountable for them so that we may always improve.
Qualities that I look for in a president is someone who is responsible, someone who listens to the people, and someone who is approachable. I believe that that is what this country needs, especially that this is the time where leaders with young generations are truly very into the elections and has a say in it.
The qualities that I look for in a president are first, compassion, second, a listening ear, and third, a very good decisive mind. Because with compassion, they are able to think of solutions for problems that are good for the people. Second, they really need to listen to the needs of the people in order to rule well. And lastly, they have to be very good decision makers so that they wouldn't be swayed by other people's opinions.
I'm looking for a president who pushes thinking, innovation, and action. Knowing that we're living still under the pandemic and still facing natural calamities that could possibly hit our country, I believe we need a president who focuses on strategies and instilling them amidst of all these circumstances.
Qualities that I look for a president is when she moves or he moves about in a way that's all about love and respect for one another, because when someone moves about in life with love, you can clearly see that, they'll express that so vividly. And my answer for that is someone who moves about life with love.
Honestly speaking, I want someone who has a firm hand, who is able to lead, who is more disciplined, more than ever, who is who has sympathy, because I believe that if you have sympathy, you're able to experience or feel whatever constituents are experiencing. So if our president has sympathy.
What qualities I look for in a president is someone who is sympathetic and empathetic and knows how to allot the funds properly. I believe that the Philippines is a very rich country, and what we need is a leader that knows where to put our funds properly so that we can provide more. We can provide a better future for our citizens.
The qualities that I want in a president is that of transparency and humility. Transparency because it's so important to have a kind of honesty between their people, and humility because first and foremost, the next president should teach him or herself as a human being first.
I look for a president who is transparent, who has humility, and at the same time looks out for the well-being of the Filipino people, not only the privileged, but also the underprivileged. I also hope to see a post-pandemic era plan so that we can progress into this modern world and also strengthen our economic stance for the rest of our country.
The president should have a brave soul, a kind heart, and a diligent spirit. Not only that, he should have enough experiences and of course compassion for the people. If he has all these qualities, I believe he can make the Philippines great again.
Qualities that I look for a president is someone who is compassionate and someone who's competent. I think during the pandemic, we've seen that we lack competence in terms of leadership, and we want a leader who will be able to lead the country for the betterment of our kababayans.
Actually, I want a president that is able to be steadfast with his campaign, his or her campaign, despite even if he wins already. Because there is an economic fallout in our country because of the pandemic. I hope for a president that is compassionate and would strategize ways to emerge our country and raise our flag once again as a Philippines.
Looking for a president that's able to adapt to new situations. As we've seen in the past 2 years, unprecedented things can happen. A president also should be able to create opportunities for women and make sure that all genders of our nation are well supported.
I think the leaders that we choose today, it's very important because the elections are coming up, and I really do think that our morals and principles as people should manifest in the leaders that we choose today, because holistically our decision is going to matter as a nation. And yeah.
I believe that our president should be has a good credentials, because their credentials just reflects their achievements in life, and it reflects their dedication and motivation that they can achieve anything. Their credentials speaks for themselves, and that it shows that they can handle our country and their people.
Qualities I look for in a president is someone who is honest. There have been so many past administrations, but I want someone who can really make a difference. I believe the Filipinos deserve better. We deserve more. Nothing more, nothing less.
Qualities that I would look for is someone who is honest and someone who is there to represent the people. Because we live in a country that is a democracy, so it's always the people that should go first and what the people need and want.
Well, the Philippines in general has so much resources to offer. The Filipinos have so much resilience and tenacity, and the kind of leader that I want for our country is somebody that can really empower all of us as a whole, of course with a unified effort, somebody that doesn't put greed at the forefront and really acts as a servant to the people and not the people to be of service for the leader.
A lot of qualities that the highest position in the Philippines requires, but I would love to highlight two of the most important things: a strong vision for the country and sense of accountability. Filipinos deserve so much, and we're looking for someone who can step up and do things that actually work on a long-term basis. We're also looking for someone who is very much accountable for all of his or her actions, both in the present and in the past. And in the combination of those two, we can have a stronger leader for a stronger nation.
I'm looking for someone who is honest, reliable, God-fearing, because when you are a God-fearing person, everything will follow. Like you don't want to have corruption existing in our government.
Thank you. The qualities I look for in a president would first and foremost be compassion for his or her people. And secondly, it would have to be integrity. When you have compassion for your people, you can never go wrong. And when you have the integrity, the moral backbone, and the honesty to do what needs to be done in the right way, you can be the president of the Philippines.
Qualities that I look for in a president is honesty and compassion. He or she have those two qualities for me so that they could help other people, especially those who are in poverty lines or the underprivileged.
Qualities that I look forward for in a president, aside from being a good leader, he or she must be selfless and who prioritizes the welfare and well-being of his or her people. So I think the good president must be able to fulfill his duties and also be a good example to everyone.
The qualities that I look for in the president are just three things. First is accountability that would forward the best interests of his or her people. Second is empathy, someone that would understand what the people needs and act with kindness towards it. And lastly, competence, someone that is strategic, that can move and lead this country towards the struggle that we are now facing.
Qualities that I look forward in the president is someone who is transparent, who is able to listen and has the compassion to listen to the people. Because since we are living in a tough time right now, we need someone who's compassionate to listen to the people of the Philippines, which is also needed. Thank you.
I look for a person who is transparent with his actions, who has proven in the community that his actions have greatly impacted other people. You know, he is sensitive, compassionate, and he truly shows how much he loves other people in his community. And you know what? I believe that that's one thing that we should always look for a president. Someone who is more compassionate, someone who understands the needs of the people around them.
Please look for the qualities of a president, that he or she is accountable, and that he has big plans for a country, our Philippines, and of course, a leader who will lead us to our right path and will have improvement in our country.
What I look for in a president is someone that, first of all, is committed into leading the country in the best way he can. Someone that is aware of the history of the Filipino people and know what to do about that. And someone that is always open to ideas. Someone that can listen to the people and find solutions for the country.
For me, the qualities that I look for in a president is someone who has integrity, someone who acts with honesty, and someone who is competent. That will bring our country back to its track and to be globally competitive. And that is the qualities that I look for in a president. Thank you.
The qualities I look for in a president would of course be their sincerity and their ability to lead and communicate and relate to the people.
Two qualities that would be to be competent and compassion. Competent for them to do the work, and compassion because they have to have the human heart.
I believe somebody who leads our nation, number one, needs to be well educated and needs to be able to impart a lot of wisdom. Number two should be somebody who has a great track record with helping the people. And number three, I believe that our next leader should be somebody who really does have a heart for others.
The quality that I look for in a president is honesty, because I believe that a lot of people can campaign for themselves and a lot of people can actually get people to vote for them. But then if you are not honest enough, then how could you lead the country that is actually just at the bottom and not at the pinnacle of success at the moment? I believe a president should be honest so that the constituents of him or her should also follow. Thank you very much.
Well, I believe that the president should have accountability, discipline, and transparency. Because the president of the Philippines is the highest person in our country. He is a person that everyone will look up to, and he should have this integrity, these qualities, because he will define, or she will define what our country will become in the future.
I'm looking for a president that is firm with his or her decisions, a president that can relate to the people, and of course, a president that has a heart. Not just intelligent, but someone who can relate and has a heart.
What I look for a president is someone who puts his or herself in the shoes of the Filipino people. You know, Voltaire, we have a lot of struggles, especially during the pandemic, and the Filipino people deserves the best. So I believe the next leader this coming May 9 should be the leader who is empathetic.
Okay, I have three qualities that I look for for our future president. That is compassion, authenticity, and being able to listen to people. Authenticity, that he or she is true when facing people. Being able to listen to people in times of problems so that he or she can address it properly. And compassion, that he or she must love not only his or her position, but the humanity as well.